Dear colleagues, welcome to my hospital at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is management of an intumescent cataract under topical anesthesia. Few drops of 5% povidone iodine has been applied over the ocular surface. Now the ocular surface is thoroughly irrigated with balanced salt solution. And now is the time to make the main incision. A 2.8 mm keratome is taken. The eyeball is stabilized by a cotton tipped bud, and now this is 2.8 mm main incision on the posterior aspect of the limbus. And now this is a paracentesis incision on the right side of the main incision, and this is another paracentesis on the left side of the main incision. Now I inject an air bubble, and beneath this air bubble I inject 0.06% trypan blue dye. Now how long after applying the dye? My experience is we need not wait for more than 10 seconds. I apply a bit of adrenaline. The patient is not very cooperative. The patient is moving his eye a lot. I apply adrenaline when the pupil is not fully dilated. Otherwise, I do not use any intracameral adrenaline. And now this is balanced salt solution. Yes, the antechamber has been irrigated with balanced salt solution. And now this is 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. I don't use sodium hyaluronate in intumescent cataracts. Yes, it is very much possible to do such cases. Just increase our competence. Now see how we can do rhexis with only SPMC. Incise the capsule at the anterior pole, and it should be a curved incision. Hold this flap and make a very small rhexis at this stage. I call it a mini rhexis. Why mini rhexis? Because now I can very confidently aspirate some cortical matter, and I know that this rhexis margin can tolerate lot of stress. Some cortical lens matter is being aspirated, and what happens? This reduces the intralenticular pressure drastically, and the cataract doesn't behave like an intumescent cataract anymore. It's an ordinary cataract. Now I inject SPMC again, and now we have to enlarge this mini rhexis into an optimum sized one. Here it is. Take a Vanna scissor, make a small cut at the margin of this rhexis. Hold this bag with a Utrata forceps and enlarge this rhexis into an optimum sized one. At this time there is no tendency of the capsule to run the periphery. And now we have to manage the nucleus. The phaco machine being used is Oakley Cataracts 3. The tip is introduced with its bevel down, some cortical matter is removed, and now the tip is turned so that the bevel is up towards the corneal endothelium. And now bury the tip into the substance of the nucleus, hold it very firmly and chop the nucleus. See how brittle the nucleus is in this case. It is getting chopped so easily, and each nuclear fragment is being emulsified and removed. The nucleus is not hard at all. Nuclear sclerosis can be said in this case is grade 3 or even grade 2 plus. This is the last portion of the nucleus. At this time I remove the chopper so that leakage from the side port stops, the antechamber becomes more stable, and we can very confidently remove the last piece of the nucleus. Now I inject some more viscoelastic substance because I'm going to use a Simcoe cannula through the main incision. If I use some viscoelastic substance, the antechamber remains formed for quite some time, and we can remove the cortex from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock very easily. And with some more maneuvers, we can remove the cortex from 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. This is a very slender 23 gauge Simcoe. It goes through a 1.5 millimeter incision. And now this is sub-incisional cortex being removed, and we see that the posterior capsule is very clean. There are no cells, no lace fibers sticking to the posterior capsule. Now I inject SPMC again, the anterior chamber, fill up the bag, and now I'm going to enlarge the main incision little bit, say by 0.2 millimeter, because I'm going to use a B cartridge and a very tough lens, very hard lens. It is in Vista from Bosch & Lomb, and this lens takes very long time to unfold, and if I do hydroimplantation it takes longer time. With visco in the anterior chamber and in the capsular bag, it opens, it unfolds quickly. But if I try to hydroimplant this lens, it takes very long time to unfold. I do not know why, but it is fact. Now cortical cleanup is being done in 4 stages. This is step 1. I am using the Simcoe cannula, irrigating the capsular bag now, and before this I have irrigated the anterior chamber. And lot of viscoelastic substance, say about 60% viscoelastic substance, is removed by this instrument, Simcoe cannula. And after this I am going to use the bimanual irrigation aspiration. Step 2 is I'll use only the irrigating probe of the bimanual IA. Friends, this is a totally unedited surgery, and you are going to observe each and every step of the surgery. In some steps I am taking very long time, and you may be wondering why it is so. And now I am using the irrigating probe of bimanual IA, irrigating the antechamber, now the capsular bag. This is step 2 of visco cleaning, and this is step 3 of visco cleaning, irrigating probe and aspirating probe being used simultaneously. With this way of cleaning the anterior chamber and capsular bag, I do not observe raised IOP because of viscoelastic substance anymore. Now I have instilled few drops of moxifloxacin in the anterior chamber. Now I am using BSS to hydrate the stroma on either side of the paracentesis. what happens with this? The straw becomes thick and the paracentesis opening closes and it becomes watertight. And now this is the final lavage of the anterior chamber, and this is the step 4 of visco-cleaning. At this time, whatever viscoelastic substance sticks to the corneal endothelium is removed by flashing fluid jet gently towards the corneal endothelium. That's it. The case is done. Now we have to form the anterior chamber and conclude this case. See how the anterior chamber is being formed. It comes to the main incision. We have to wait for till it comes to the main incision, and here it is. You hold it like this, give an upward thrust on the anterior lip of the main incision and come out. That's it. Now you check the integrity of the wounds. There should not be any leakage from any side. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this video will help you in doing your intumescent cataracts under topical anesthesia.